When your life is hard, it feels personal. It feels like the universe singled you out, like the weight is unfair, like the pressure is too much for one set of shoulders. You wake up tired before the day even begins. You carry invisible battles no one applauds. You smile in public and fight in private. And somewhere in the silence of your own thoughts, you wonder how much longer you can keep going. But what if this is the moment that defines you? Not the moment you win, not the moment you're celebrated, the moment you are tested. Hard seasons do not arrive to destroy you. They arrive to expose you. They reveal what is fragile and what is unbreakable. They show you the habits you built when life was easy. They show you whether your confidence was convenience or conviction. Steel is not formed in comfort. It is forged in fire. Diamonds are not created in safety. They are born under pressure. History does not remember people who had easy lives. It remembers those who endured impossible ones. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated failure before he ever led a divided nation. Thomas Edison was told he lacked intelligence before he illuminated the world. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination before he built empires of creativity. Their lives were hard long before they were legendary. And maybe your life is hard right now because you are being prepared for something bigger than your comfort. Hard times strip away illusion. They take away applause. They take away shortcuts. They leave you alone with your discipline, alone with your belief, alone with your mindset. And mindset is everything. When your life is hard, your mind will try to protect you. It will whisper, quit. It will justify average effort. It will rationalize delay. It will convince you that survival is enough. But survival is not your destiny. You were not built just to endure. You were built to evolve. The first battle is internal. It is choosing perspective. You can see hardship as proof that life is against you, or you can see it as evidence that you are being stretched beyond your previous limits. Growth feels like breaking before it feels like becoming. When muscles grow, they tear first. When businesses grow, they struggle first. When leaders grow, they fail first. The pain is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of expansion. Clarity is born in hardship. When everything is easy, you drift. When everything is hard, you focus. You start asking better questions. What truly matters? What must change? What habits can no longer continue? Hard seasons force decisions you were too comfortable to make before. Maybe your circle needs upgrading. Maybe your discipline needs strengthening. Maybe your excuses need eliminating. Hardship does not just challenge you. It cleans you. It removes distractions. It removes weakness. It removes illusion. And what remains is raw potential. Purpose becomes sharper when life is difficult. When things are comfortable, your goals feel optional. When things are hard, your purpose becomes oxygen. You cling to it. You fight for it. You protect it. Henry Ford faced bankruptcy before revolutionizing industry. Andrew Carnegie worked relentlessly before building wealth that reshaped philanthropy. They did not escape difficulty. They transformed through it. And so will you. Discipline becomes non-negotiable when life is hard. You don't wait for motivation. You create structure. You wake up whether you feel ready or not. You train whether your body feels strong or not. You execute whether inspiration shows up or not. Because you understand something powerful. Emotions fluctuate, but standards remain. Raise your standard. When life is hard, lower comfort and raise commitment. Lower excuses and raise effort. Lower complaint and raise ownership. Ownership is power. The moment you say, "This is my responsibility," you take control. You stop blaming, you stop waiting, you stop wishing, you start building. Action becomes your therapy. Every small win matters. Every completed task, every resisted temptation, every promise kept to yourself. These are not small victories. They are identity shifts. Hard seasons are not survived through giant leaps. They are conquered through consistent steps. Resilience grows quietly. You don't notice it at first. You just realize one day that what used to break you now strengthens you. What used to overwhelm you now sharpens you. What used to make you anxious now makes you strategic. You begin to trust yourself. Trust is earned through endurance, and as your trust deepens, fear weakens. You start taking risks again. You start believing again. You start dreaming again, but this time with discipline behind your vision. Gratitude becomes different when life is hard. It's no longer gratitude for ease. It's gratitude for strength, gratitude for another chance, gratitude for breath, gratitude for growth. Hardship humbles you, but it also builds you. Adaptability becomes your advantage. Plans may fail, timelines may shift, people may leave, opportunities may close, but you adjust, you pivot, you evolve. Because you are no longer attached to comfort, you are attached to growth, and growth is uncomfortable by design. When your life is hard, comparison becomes irrelevant. You stop looking sideways. You focus forward. You measure yourself against who you were yesterday, not against someone else's highlight reel. Hard seasons are isolating, but isolation can be powerful. In isolation, distractions disappear. In isolation, identity is forged. In isolation, you discover who you truly are when nobody is watching. You discover that you are stronger than you thought, smarter than you believed, more capable than you assumed. The pressure reveals your potential. And one day, without announcement, something shifts. The problems don't vanish, the difficulty doesn't magically disappear, but you are different, calmer, sharper, more controlled. You walk into rooms with quiet confidence. You handle setbacks with strategy instead of emotion. You speak less but mean more. You react slower but act faster. The hard season did not break you, it rebuilt you. And now, when new challenges appear, you don't panic, you prepare. You don't complain, you execute. You don't collapse, you rise. Because you understand now something you didn't before. Hard is not your enemy. Hard is your training ground. Hard is your teacher. Hard is the furnace that burns away weakness and leaves behind strength. When your life is hard, do not ask for it to be easier. Ask for yourself to be stronger. Ask for more discipline. Ask for more resilience. Ask for more courage. Because when you become stronger, the same weight that once crushed you becomes manageable. And then something extraordinary happens. You stop fearing hard seasons. You start respecting them. You start welcoming them as opportunities to grow beyond your old limits. And when you look back at this chapter of your life, you won't remember the comfort you wished for. You will remember the strength you built. You will remember the nights you didn't quit. You will remember the mornings you showed up tired but determined. You will remember the moment you decided that hard would not define you, it would develop you. When your life is hard, that is not the end of your story. It is the forging of your character. It is the sharpening of your mind. It is the strengthening of your spirit. And if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to surrender to comfort, if you refuse to betray your potential, this hard season will become the foundation of your greatest rise. Not because it was easy, but because you endured. And endurance is the birthplace of greatness. Endurance is not glamorous. It is not loud. It does not trend. It is built in silence, in repetition, in the decision to stand back up when staying down feels justified. When your life is hard, nobody sees the internal negotiations. Nobody hears the arguments inside your mind at 2 a.m. when doubt tries to convince you that this is your limit. But limits are not discovered in comfort. They are discovered in confrontation. There is a version of you that only appears under pressure. When everything is smooth, you operate at 70%. When everything is aligned, you relax. But when life tightens its grip, when responsibilities stack, when resources shrink, when criticism rises, something ancient wakes up inside you. Survival sharpens your senses. Adversity demands clarity. Difficulty forces maturity. This is where leaders are born, not in applause, not in easy victories, but in crisis. Think of the innovators who changed industries. They were not handed perfect conditions. They faced resistance, skepticism, economic downturns, personal failure. Yet the pressure refined them. It made them strategic. It made them relentless. Hardship was not a detour in their journey. It was the curriculum. And right now, your life might feel like a battlefield. Financial pressure, emotional weight, physical exhaustion, mental fatigue, the kind of pressure that makes quitting seem logical. But logic without courage leads to regret. Hard moments demand hard decisions. You either shrink to fit the difficulty or you expand to overcome it. Expansion hurts. Growth stretches identity. It requires new habits, new thinking, new standards. The old version of you cannot solve the new level of problems. That version must evolve. When your life is hard, routine becomes sacred. Structure becomes stability. The simple acts, waking early, training your body, feeding your mind with knowledge instead of noise, these become anchors in chaos. They remind you that while you cannot control everything, you can control yourself. Self-control is power, the ability to regulate your emotions when circumstances are unstable, the ability to choose action over reaction, the ability to stay disciplined when distraction offers temporary relief. Hard seasons reveal emotional maturity. Do you explode under stress or do you adapt? Do you complain or do you calculate? Do you blame or do you build? Blame feels good in the moment. It protects your ego, but ownership builds your future. When you take responsibility, you reclaim control. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a strategist within them. You analyze your position. You identify weaknesses. You reinforce your strengths. You adjust your plan. Hard times are not signals to panic. They are signals to prepare. Preparation is what separates those who crumble from those who climb. You prepare your body through discipline. You prepare your mind through study. You prepare your spirit through resilience. You reduce chaos by increasing structure. You reduce fear by increasing competence. Competence creates confidence, and confidence under pressure is magnetic. It attracts opportunity. It earns respect. It stabilizes chaos. But confidence is not built overnight. It is built through exposure to discomfort. Every challenge survived becomes evidence. Evidence that you can handle more. Evidence that you are stronger than yesterday. Evidence that you are capable of navigating uncertainty. When your life is hard, you are collecting evidence. Evidence of strength. Evidence of persistence. Evidence of growth. One day, you will look back and realize that the season you hated the most was the one that transformed you the deepest, because hard seasons strip you of ego. They teach humility. They teach patience. They teach gratitude for progress, not perfection. Perfection is a myth. Progress is real, and progress compounds. One disciplined day leads to another. One difficult conversation leads to clarity. One brave decision leads to momentum, and momentum, once built, is powerful. There will still be setbacks. There will still be moments when the weight feels unbearable, but you will handle them differently. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you will ask, "What now?" Instead of collapsing emotionally, you will respond strategically. Strategy over emotion. Growth over comfort. Standards over excuses. This is how you turn pain into power, not by denying the difficulty, not by pretending it doesn't hurt, but by using it as fuel, using it as focus, using it as fire. When your life is hard, let it sharpen you, not shatter you. Let it discipline you, not discourage you. Let it elevate you, not eliminate you. Because one truth remains constant. You are not defined by the weight you carry. You are defined by how you carry it. Carry it with dignity. Carry it with discipline. Carry it with the unshakable belief that this season is temporary, but the strength you are building is permanent. And when the storm passes, because storms always pass, you will not be the same person who entered it. You will be steadier, stronger, wiser, more resilient. And the next time life gets hard, you will not fear it. You will recognize it as training, as preparation, as the forge where your next level is being built. You want relief. You want the pressure to ease. You want the noise in your head to quiet down long enough so you can breathe without feeling like you're drowning in your own expectations. But listen carefully. When your life is hard, it is not a curse. It is a calling. Hard is not here to destroy you. Hard is here to reveal you. When your life is hard, you are being invited into a version of yourself that comfort could never create. Comfort builds softness. Hardship builds steel. Comfort whispers. Hardship roars. And that roar, that's the sound of your potential being forged in fire. You think the struggle means you're failing. You think the resistance means you're not cut out for this. But resistance is proof that you are moving in a direction that demands growth. A muscle only grows when it is torn. A diamond only forms under crushing pressure. And you are in the middle of your transformation. Look at the great builders of history. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he found the filament that would light the world. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, failed in business, buried children, battled depression, and still stood tall enough to hold a fractured nation together. Henry Ford went bankrupt more than once before revolutionizing the way the world moved. Their lives were not easy. They were hard, brutally hard. And that's exactly why they became who they became. When your life is hard, your first instinct is to shrink, to retreat, to negotiate with mediocrity. Maybe this is enough, you tell yourself. Maybe I should lower the bar. But deep down, you know that's a lie. You feel it in your chest, that restless fire that refuses to be extinguished. Hard times expose your excuses. They strip away illusion. They force you to look in the mirror and confront the habits, the fears, the laziness, the doubts that comfort allowed to hide. This is where discipline is born. Discipline is not loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't need applause. Discipline is waking up when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work when no one is watching. It's choosing growth over gratification. It's saying no to the easy path because you know it leads nowhere worth going. When your life is hard, you must build rituals that anchor you. Wake up before the world demands your attention. Move your body. Strengthen your mind. Feed yourself words that expand you instead of shrinking you. Your morning becomes your battlefield. Win it. You don't wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes like the wind. But commitment is a decision, and decisions shape destiny. When the weight of life feels unbearable, understand something powerful. The weight is building capacity. The struggle is increasing your tolerance for discomfort, and discomfort is the gateway to greatness. You cannot outgrow your current reality without discomfort. You cannot evolve while clinging to what feels safe. When your life is hard, your mind will try to protect you. It will say, quit. It will say, this isn't worth it. It will say, you've done enough. But that voice is not your truth. It is your fear dressed up as logic. The real voice, the deeper one, is quieter. It says, keep going. It says, you were built for this. It says, this is shaping you. Hearing that voice requires stillness. It requires belief. Belief is not blind optimism. Belief is a choice you make in the absence of evidence. It is the decision to see yourself not as you are, but as you are becoming. When your life is hard, visualize the person on the other side of this storm. See them clearly. See their posture, their confidence, their calm. That version of you exists, but they are waiting for you to endure what this season demands. Clarity fuels endurance. When you know why you're suffering, you can survive almost anyhow. If your vision is vague, your pain feels pointless. But when your purpose is sharp, your pain becomes preparation. So ask yourself, what are you building? Who are you becoming? What does this season of hardship prepare you to handle? Because make no mistake, easy seasons do not prepare leaders. Comfort does not prepare innovators. Smooth paths do not create warriors. When your life is hard, you are being trained. Trained to stay steady under pressure. Trained to manage chaos without collapsing. Trained to think clearly when emotions are loud. Hard times stretch your emotional capacity. They test your patience. They challenge your identity. And every time you choose to respond instead of react, every time you choose discipline over despair, you are rewriting your story. Gratitude becomes your weapon here. Not fake gratitude, not forced positivity, but a grounded recognition that even in pain, you are alive. Even in struggle, you are learning. Even in exhaustion, you are growing. Gratitude shifts you from victim to architect. When your life is hard, you adapt. You don't complain about the storm. You build a stronger shelter. You don't curse the darkness. You sharpen your vision. Adaptability is power. It keeps you fluid when circumstances shift. It keeps you resilient when plans collapse. Resilience is not toughness alone. It is flexibility under pressure. It is bending without breaking. Every obstacle is feedback. Every failure is instruction. When something doesn't work, you adjust, you learn, you refine, you move again. You do not let a single setback define your identity. You are not your worst day. You are not your current struggle. You are the one who endures them. And endurance, real endurance, is rare. It is forged when your life is hard and you refuse to surrender your standard. There will be nights when doubt feels heavier than hope. There will be mornings when your body aches and your spirit feels thin. But this is where character is built. Not in applause, not in victory, but in the quiet decision to stand up again. Again and again and again. When your life is hard, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. Prepared to carry more. Prepared to lead more. Prepared to become more. The question is not whether life is hard. The question is, will you rise to meet it?